गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। In Sushupti, in deep sleep, Jagat and Jiva merge into himself, not simply immerse, though it looks that they are only immersing, they merge into it. World loses its existence. Jiva too loses his jivatvam. Means his individuality as a jiva is lost. Lost means what? How do you lose anything? Anything that is destroyed, you take in general. Look at anything that is destroyed. In fact, there is no such a thing called destruction. There is no such a thing called destruction at all. Nothing is destroyed, nothing is created. This is what Vedanta says. Modern science too tells the same thing. Matter is neither created nor destroyed, isn't it? So therefore, nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. It only changes its appearance, that's all. An appearance, a thing appears in a given condition. You change the condition, it changes its appearance, it appears as something else. It keeps on changing a condition, but nothing gets destroyed, nothing is newly created. This is what Vedanta too tells. Nothing is newly created, nothing is destroyed. Because such a thing is impossible. Such a thing doesn't occur, doesn't happen. Nobody has ever seen them. So here, the waking world itself is not an entity. It is just an appearance. So, the appearance is not there, that's all we say. Its existence, the existence of the world is the Sakshi only. Therefore, anything when you break it, you take an normal way, anything you break it, it goes back to its original nature. A thing is destroyed, it melts away, melts or breaks into pieces. It goes back to its original nature from which it is born. From which anything you take the plastic, you melt away, it goes back into plastic state. Wooden thing, you dismantle all these parts, it goes back into its state of wood only. But what is the wood? Again you burn it, it goes back into ashes. So whatever the thing is made of, whatever is its original material cause, it goes back by losing its shape. In fact, the very production of anything is nothing but only a shape is produced, a form we call it. A form alone is created. When it assumes a form, then it assumes a certain character, certain qualities, that's all. Then the form changes, its character also changes. Similarly, but here we are not talking of the objects within the state. This science applies to the objects within the state. Science means the form changes and changes to another form. Every form is a conditional. This is what modern science says. That means modern science watches the things within the waking state. They determine the nature of the things within the waking state alone. They never look at state as a whole. including the subject and object. They never include subject in it. They take only object as an object. It is the subject who is watching. But here we are taking state as a whole, where the subject and object both are together, taken together. Therefore, the changes of the objects are generally seen within the time and place and conditions. Any form appears in a given space, given point of space, given time of period of space, period of time, and also given conditions. So the conditions change, time changes, space changes, thing appears differently. Appears means its form changes, its characters change, its qualities change. This is what we see within the world. But when we take world as a whole, in what condition the world is appearing? We are taking the state as a whole. That's different. For a given object, you look at the conditions. Within the conditions, that thing appears. Condition changes, thing changes. But when you take the state as a whole, what are the conditions in which the whole waking state appears? Do you mean the entire waking state? State as a whole. State as a whole, in what conditions the entire waking state appears? Does it appear in a given location, given space? Because space is part of the state. Note this, space is part of the state, therefore whole state doesn't have another space underlying it. The very space is part of the state. When you take the state as a whole, you have no underlying another space. There is only one space. Then regarding the time, for a period of time, thing exists. So it requires a time. In that time alone it appears. Other time it doesn't appear, it changes. So everything lives in a particular space, exists in a particular time and particular condition. In fact, space and time is also part of condition. Anyway, we are just for clarity we are dividing them, otherwise they all put together is condition only. So the whole way, when you take the state as a whole, there is no underlying time, because time is a part of the waking state. Time is a relation of subject-object. When subject is experiencing the object, there the time comes into picture. Time comes into picture. Time exists only in relation of the subject experiencing the object. But the subject-object put together the entire state when you take, time is included in the state. Therefore, how long, when does the state exist? There is no, that's why we can never see the beginning of state and end of the state. Not only we cannot see the beginning of deep sleep. Beginning of deep sleep, nobody can see, it is very clear. It is very easy to understand. Beginning, because deep sleep has no beginning, no ending, because it doesn't exist in time. There is no experience of time at all. Not only there is no time as a basis of deep sleep, even for the waking and dream states also. Even for the dream state doesn't occur in time. State doesn't occur in time. It doesn't start in time, doesn't pass for a length of time, and doesn't end in time. Because the very time, the series of time is experienced within the dream world. But dream as a state, if you take it, you can't count the time there. You can't see a time underlying the dream state. Because time is already part of the state. So dream as a whole, you take it, there is no time, timeless. That's why in dream, nobody can ever say when does the dream begin. Within the dream, you have a conception of time, you have an experience of time. But just now the dream has begun. Has anybody noted, now dream has begun? Nobody can note it, because there is no such an experience at all. Nobody has such an experience. Anytime you look at dream, you feel that you are already in dream. There was some past, you are in dream. and some future is going to come. At any time you see, there is already some past, you are in the present, and the future you are going to see. This is how you see it, like in a wheel, or like in a, what you call that, mala, japa mala, garland of beads. It is a round garland of beads. You take any one bead, any, what you say, that money, any bead, you take any bead, there is one back and there is in front. So there is no first bead, you can't say. Every bead is preceded by one and followed by another. Every bead has a preceding one and a following one. So there is no first one beginning, there is no such, because it is a round one. Similarly, dream is something like that. Nobody can see that this is the first moment of dream, nobody can say. Has anybody experienced the first moment? No. At any moment you take, any experience, any moment of dream, you see that there was a past, you are in the present, and some future event is going to occur. So you can never see beginning of dream. Ending of dream also you can't see. Just like you walk a path, from here you get up and walk one more step, keep on walking, you reach the end of the hall. This is where the hall ends. Thereafter there is no hall, because hall has got a size, therefore it ends at one point. By dreaming, you keep on dreaming. By keep on dreaming, when will you end the dream? Tell me. More you dream, you keep dreaming. You dream, you keep dreaming only. You keep dreaming, there is no end for it. Suddenly at some time you are out of it, that's what you can say. When you are out of it, past, present, future, whole thing you give up and you are out of the dream. But dream state itself doesn't end like it. You see a book. You start from here, keep on walking, at this point book ends. Is there such a thing that it ends? There is no end point for the dream. Just as there was no starting point for the dream, there is no end point also. So with any time you look at the dream, you are within the dream. This is how the dream experience is experienced. We find experience of dream all the time within alone. Within means at some point. There is no beginning and ending. That's why we say anadi anantaha. In Sanskrit, anadi beginningless, anantaha endless. It has no beginning, no end. Similarly, waking also. How do you see the beginning of waking? So, time and space and conditions are obtained within the state. Within the state means in your subject-object relationship, you have a space experienced within the state. But state as a whole, which includes the subject and object. You take the state as a whole, where is it? You ask where is the waking state? You say waking state is here, or in your bed, or in your chair. Where is the waking state? Your chair and bed is within the waking state. Show me the place, basis where the waking state is. Waking state has no location. The idea of location is within the waking state, but state as a whole doesn't have a location, doesn't have an adhara. Similarly, time also, waking state doesn't begin. We generally think that morning I wake up at so and so time, morning 5 or 6, whatever time you wake up. So this is the 5 I woke up. Now the waking state begins 5 o'clock. Have you noted that? Watch that. Can you note the beginning of waking? After you come into waking, you watch the time? Or you are aware of the time and start the beginning? You are aware of 5 o'clock and then waking begins. No. You are awake, then look at the time. That means you are already in the waking state. Similarly, ending also. Can you see the ending of waking state? You are going to sleep. When you fall asleep, note the time. Somebody would say, keep a pen and paper. When you fall asleep, note down, this is the time I went to sleep. Is it possible? As long as you are awake, There is no ending. When it ends, you are not there. No time. You are not there means no time. There is no time at all. Therefore, beginning and waking, beginning and ending of waking also can't, because the very series of time, the experience of time is, the time is experienced by the waking individual. Does waking individual begin? Have you ever seen this waking individual beginning? Who is to see? Who is to see? Sakshi, in deep sleep you are Sakshi, witnessing consciousness. You are not individual. As an individual you are already there. How can you see your own beginning? How can you see beginning of a waking individual? Can waking individual see? He can't see his own beginning. He will see beginning of anything else. See, when I am here, I see people coming. I can see who all came after I came here. After I have come here, I can see anybody who has come. But how can I see my own coming before? That means my own existence. I can't see the beginning of my individuality. Individuality is there. That's why I say waking individual is beginningless, just as a dream individual is beginningless. Dream individual means dream time, means dream state. All the three are one. Dream state, dream individual, dream time, all the three are one. Therefore, all the three are beginningless. Dream state means dream time means dream individual. Similarly, waking state, waking time, waking individual, all the three are same. So, waking individual can't see his own beginning. Before the individual began, first thing is there is no idea of beginning at all. You can only have an experience without individuality. Therefore, without individuality, you existed in deep sleep. This much we can say. I exist in my deep sleep without individuality. But when does it begin? Do you think when you were in deep sleep, did you think that, oh, I slept for a long time, now I have got important work, I have to wake up? Do you think and wake up? There is no thinker to think. Because in deep sleep, there was no thinker. Thinker means there is no individual who is conscious of. There is no thinker. But in waking, you are already thinker. You are already a part of it. You have not seen your beginning. Who is to see? You can't see your own starting. You can't see your own beginning. You already exist. Therefore, the waking individual cannot begin. Waking state also cannot begin in time. Time is experienced in the waking state. This much we can say. As a waking individual, I experience time, past, present and future, a length of time. Things happen within time. Things happen within time. This is very strange. Have you looked at scientists? Anyway, I am not supposed to, I need not comment, but just as out of curiosity, I just say, that is not my subject. My subject is Vedanta. Scientists earlier during Newton, they thought time and space was a real entity. Time and space was like this object, like this hall. Space was an entity, time was an entity, and things were born in time and space. Then after Einstein came, time and space are inseparable from the objects. It is not that the thing exists in time. Time itself is a part of the experience of a thing. When thing is experienced, time comes into picture. Time comes into picture. Time is experienced as a part of an object alone. It doesn't have an independent existence. It is like a vessel, like a basket. You take a basket and put fruit in it. Do you say time is a basket, space is a basket in which you put this lens? When you experience a book or any object, time and space go with it. Therefore, every object comprises of time and space as a part of it, as inseparable from it. So therefore, time and space are relative. They are experienced along with the objects. Because every object has got a length, width and height, thickness. So length, width and height is space. What do you mean by space? It is a part of a space. An object doesn't have length, width and height, length, width and thickness without space. With space alone you can think of the space is part of the objects. When a thing is born, once it is created, it lives for a length of time and then it gets dismantled. It gets broken or destroyed. So it has got a time also. Therefore, time and space are part of the objects experienced. Therefore, time and space are not separate. When time and space is part of the world, inseparable from the world cannot be thought of independent of time. World cannot be thought within the time and space. Time and space and things, three put together is one. Then scientists wanted to think that how did the world begin? You see, when time and space is inseparable from the objects, it is a part of the objects, part of the experiences, then how can you say world begin? Now they are trying to find out the beginning of time, beginning of world. When did the world begin? Is it not contradiction? Somebody was asking me, evolution of cosmos. They talk of evolution of cosmos. Of course, there are two things also, evolution of cosmos and biological evolution. What is Hindu view? Somebody asked me, some Indian only living in England. He recently asked me a question. So they are only theories. Nobody can explain them. They are all theories. They are only imaginations. They are only wild imagination. So they are thinking how the world began. Means what? World begins at one point of time and one point of place. But time and place is part of it. When time and place is part of it, who can think and how can you think? How can you understand it? How can you go before time and before space? Before time, before place, you won't exist as an individual. World doesn't exist. Then how can you see the beginning of world? They are trying to make theories. Once they understood, after Einstein came, time and space is a part of the world, inseparable from the worldly objects, then again thinking of trying to understand the beginning of the world is a contradiction. They can't do, it won't work. You only end up having theories. Lot of theories, lot of theories only. Kalpana. Tumba kalpanagal siktave ashte horatu. You will never find anything. Each one has one kalpana and another fellow does another kalpana. It goes, kalpana means imagination. Some theories alone. So when they understand that time and place is part of it, then you cannot think of its beginning. You cannot think of its beginning. But still they want to think, not only think, they want to find out the beginning. It is something like that you were in dream. You wanted to find out in dream, when did the dream begin? Okay? You were in dream. World is there, dream world. You existed. Who was the first person who started the dream? Who was the first person lived in the dream? Tell me. Which was the first object? They told some amoeba. Which amoeba? There are many amoebas, isn't it? Out of them you find the father amoeba, first amoeba. Can you find out? I don't know. Scientists are trying. Probably they will find out. This was the first amoeba who was created. All amoebas came after this amoeba. This was the first amoeba. They told unicellular organism, first amoeba. Now tell me, who is the first one? How do you find out? So evolution itself goes wrong. The idea of evolution, a person in the dream wants to find out who was the first person in the dream world. Which was the first object in the world. You may say that this was the mountain. Before the mountain there was something else, water. Before the water there was something else. Before that something else. Before that there was sun. Before sun there was something else. Okay, you go on imagining. Then ultimately where will you reach? Then Big Bang. Big Bang means what? We don't know. That's what it means. What does Big Bang mean? Big Bang means we don't know. That's what it means. They used a big word, that's all. Means we just don't know what it is. But that's what we are telling. It is impossible to find out because you are contradiction. You are working for contradiction. It is the very person, you individual, it is like trying to find out. Later they discovered, but they are unable to apply it. World itself doesn't exist apart from your thought. Up to this they came. This is very good thing that scientists have come. That the matter itself doesn't exist apart from your thought. Then how did the thought begin? They don't know. Up to thought they came. How to transcend the thought? They are trying to transcend the thought through thought. Because by thinking they want to transcend the thought. Okay, try. How will you transcend the thought and find out the beginning of the thought? Will it ever happen? Will it work? You try to find out the beginning of the thought through thought. Wherever there is a thought, you can't have a thoughtlessness. You can't be without thought. So you go through thought alone, you remain within the thought, within the thought, within the thought. How will you find out the beginning of the thought? Beginning of the thought is thought only. That's what all that you can say is a thought. Then thought is right now. Then how do you say beginning? This itself is a anyway, therefore they are working for contradiction. Anyway, we leave them. Therefore, waking state, come back to our Vedanta topic. So waking state has no beginning, no ending. Therefore, we see a state anadi. There is just an experience. So we are trying to find out the cause of this waking state, which includes the individuality, jiva. I am an individual experiencing the waking state. So the waking world and individual, they merge. Merge means what? Is merging an event? Is merging, see, an event occurs in a time. An event is an incident or an event occurs in a time. Is merging of the world into something else. Is it an event? Can you see? Who is to see? Who is to see the world is gradually merging into everything? You are also merging. Can you watch world disappearing? Can you watch world disappearing or world rising? Nobody can see that. But what do they do? How can they do that? Therefore, prajna, sushupti is pure consciousness. Sushupti is a deep sleep, is our own experience, where everything becomes one consciousness, one uniform, undivided, endless, beginningless consciousness. Therefore, the third pada in Mandukya Upanishad, third pada, third step, pada means step. Third step is called prajna. First is Vaishwanara, waking state. Second is Taijasa, the dream. Third is prajna, that is deep sleep. Deep sleep means consciousness, pure consciousness. Prajna padaha. There prajnapti chaitanya matram asyaiva asadharanam rupamiti prajna. Why do we call it prajna? Because it is the pure consciousness. Pure means what? Is there a pure and impure consciousness? Pure means there is only consciousness, nothing else. In the consciousness, you are not aware of an object. You have no thought within the consciousness. There is no thought, there is no object, there is no relation. It is a non-relational, just bare consciousness. Conscious of what? There is no such thing called as what. Generally, when we say conscious of what, they ask immediately. Conscious of what? There should be an object. Conscious of something. There is no something. But even to imagine there is no something, again that is a relationship. See, there is nothing also is a relationship. There is something is a relationship. I am conscious of something. I am not conscious. Both are relations alone. But here we are talking, there is no object. That means there is no relationship. It is non-relational consciousness. That's why I say not conscious of, conscious of. Conscious of means a relation comes. An object is required. The subject is conscious of an object. Here we say it is not that somebody is conscious of something. It is there is no second one. He is just consciousness. No thought of second one. Therefore, Sushupti is Prajna, is pure consciousness. Prajnapti means that consciousness. Chaitanya matram is another word for it. Asyaiva asadharanam dharmaha. In Sushupti, the consciousness is unique to it. In waking also there is consciousness, but waking is related to state. In waking, consciousness is aware of the waking state. You are conscious of the waking state. Dream is conscious of the dream state. Here, without the state, there is a consciousness. Consciousness without the state. Even to say the without the state, again you are thinking of something other than consciousness. See, to think of with state, without state, both are thoughts only. So without state means you can't think even that thought also. That is just consciousness. Therefore, asadharana dharmaha, it is unique nature, uncommon nature. Asadharana means uncommon, special or unique nature. Therefore, asyaiva asadharanam rupam iti prajnaha. Chaitanyavu sushuptiya asadharana swarupa. It is a unique nature of sushupti. Unique means compare it to others. If you compare, first thing is there is no second thing. In order to compare, you have to imagine the waking and dream. You have to imagine another state and then compare. There is no second to compare. It is all by itself. It is all by itself. So if you compare, then you have to imagine. Compare with the waking. Wakeful consciousness is always conscious of a state. Conscious of not a given individual, but conscious of a state as a whole. But here, it is independent consciousness. It is not related to state. It is a stateless on its own. So that means you cannot think of it. There is no thought. When there is no thought, you can't explain it. You have no word for it. You have no word for it and you have no thought for it. It is neither a word nor a thought. Andre vaakilla, vritti illa. Shabda illa, vritti illa. Neither there is a word, neither there is a word nor there is a thought. It is just consciousness. Okay. So asadharan prajnaha. Asyam avasthaya. Into that sushupti, waking world merges. Waking world merging nobody has seen. Because it is impossible to see. Who is to see? The waking person cannot see. As long as he is a waking person, world doesn't merge. Because he is the world. Waking individual is the world. Therefore, as long as he is the waking person, there is no merging of the world. World continues. World sustains. World prolongs. World persists. It doesn't go away. World disappearing means individuality disappears. But individuality disappearing, gradually going, can you see? You can't see yourself gradually going. Because to be able to see, you should persist. But here you have to dissolve. When you dissolve, you can't see yourself. Therefore, nobody can see one's own dissolution. But you have an experience where you are not an individual. You have a deeper experience. You have another experience in yourself. In deep sleep, you stand as yourself, not being an individual, not being related to the world. You are not an individual because you have no world other than you. Neither the world nor an individual. That means entire waking state doesn't exist, yet I exist. Such an experience you have. Therefore, seeing the deep sleep experience, since there is no world other than you, therefore we say that the world has merged into you. World has merged into you, which is your deep sleep. Because you are not experiencing the world. You are not an individual. You have no world. Then the world and individuality, the entire state is not a matter of experience. That means it has merged into you. Whatever is present, everything merges into that alone. Therefore, he says, it has merged into Sushupti. Asyam hi avasthayam jivaha swarupa bhutenaiva sarvasakshi bhutena ishvara rupena vartate. Jiva merges into deep sleep. Merging means what? We always assume there are two things, one merging into other. We think of two, this going into that. There is a water, you have a sugar, you add the sugar into it and then stir it, it melts into it. This is how we imagine. So, because our imagination is based upon worldly things, but we are talking of the world as a whole. No event within the state can constitute an example for understanding state as a whole. See, when it comes to state as a whole, no example helps you. No illustration can help you, because every illustration is within the waking state. Any event, any ordinary object is within the state. When you take state as a whole, nothing serves as an illustration. You don't know how it merges. Yet human mind imagines that. When we say waking state, Jiva merges into Brahma, you imagine one person is going into another place, going into hall and closes the door and we don't see him. Isn't it? This is how we imagine. That person goes there, goes inside and then closes the door and we can't see. This is because the human mind can think of only things within the waking state in relationship of time, space and object. So anything you give beyond waking, it imagines as through waking only. That's why I told you, what is beyond mind, mind tries to imagine. Is there any meaning? Say it is beyond mind. Mind says, yes, I have understood. How can you understand? Mind can't understand what is beyond mind. But mind tries to imagine. So it is only an imagination. It's not an understanding. But here, Jiva merges into deep sleep. Okay. Merges means we can say that you are only deep sleep, nothing other than you. That experience alone is the proof. You have an experience where you are no more a Jiva, you no more an individual. You are the whole consciousness. You are the entire consciousness. In Sushupti, there is only consciousness and nothing but consciousness. Because there is no object of consciousness. There is no thought. There is no second. There is only consciousness. Merging means you are only consciousness. That's what we say. So, merging generally we think one thing goes into other. So, Jiva, how does, another thing is, what can merge? What can be merged, let us say. What can be merged? Whatever is fit to be merged alone can be merged. You can melt sugar in water. You can melt salt in water. Can you melt a piece of plastic in water? Piece of plastic or a piece of stone put in water and keep on stirring again and again and again. How many times? 11 times. Think of Ramanama and melt it. Can you melt it? Whether you think of Ramanama, Shivanama, no Nama works. Nothing melts it. Okay, if you can't do it, after 1 hour again stir it. You stir any number of times, it won't melt into it. So similarly, what can melt? What can merge? What is fit to merge alone can be merged. Isn't it? What can be merged, that alone will be merged. ಯಾವುದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಯೋಗ್ಯವಾಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೇ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. Whatever can be merged, that alone will be merged, not any other thing. So, Jiva has merged into deep sleep means Jiva is capable of getting merged. Why? How can it be merged? Because Jiva comes from sleep alone. Jiva is purely consciousness alone. A water can be merged into another water. How? Because water comes from the water only. A small amount of water, you take 1 spoon of water, merge into another cup of water. How can you merge? You say, I can merge. But why does it merge? I don't know. I have tried and it merging. This water gets mixed up. Again, you can't take out the same spoon. It goes, once it goes, it disappears. It goes into water. It becomes one with water. That's because this water was never separate from it. It is of the same nature. This spoon of water is of the same nature of cup of water. Therefore, this water added to that water easily merges into it because both are same. Why Jiva merges into Sushupti? Because he is same, he is not separate. That is the easy thing. He merges because Jiva is not separate, he is same. Part space, you can say when you break the pot, this much of part space merges into total space. How? Why does it merge? Why does it merge? You put a question to scientists. Why? There is no merging, it is already space. Therefore, it is one with space. It is already one. Similarly, the jiva is consciousness, is a conscious entity only when the thought of the body is a thought only. Sense organs are a thought. Mind is a thought. When he leaves out the body, when he leaves out the mind, when he leaves out the sense organs, what remains is consciousness. That consciousness is already part of larger consciousness. There is no larger and smaller, there is only one consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is consciousness. Merging idea, we put the word immerse, merging. Merging word, we use it, but it is already one. Similarly, jiva merges into deep sleep. What about the world? World also merges. Why world merges? Okay, jiva being consciousness, he merges, we can understand. Why does the world merge? World is also consciousness, that's why it merges. That is simple thing. World is also consciousness. How can you say world is consciousness? Yeah, world is. World is nothing but consciousness. World is a thought. It is only a limited thought, a thought of a given dimension, that's all. Consciousness taken in a given, selected in a given form is called thought. Consciousness taken in a smaller dimension is called thought. You stretch the dimension. See, there is a thought. You expand it. Still expand. Still expand. It becomes infinite. Infinite is consciousness only. Infinite is consciousness. See, any thought further expanded, expand, it becomes the whole waking state. Then further expand the waking state. Expand means what? The edge of the waking state. You remove the edges. What happens? It is consciousness. It merges into you. See, the whole waking state is the biggest thought you can think of. The biggest thought you can think of is waking. All your thoughts are within waking, isn't it? All our thoughts are within waking state alone. It is the biggest thought that we can think of is waking. What is beyond waking? Think of a bigger thought than waking. Bigger thought is only swallowed one only. One who swallows the waking thought is the bigger one, bigger than waking. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan, that Kathopanishad says that. It is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. How do you understand that? That statement is very interesting, but it's very difficult to understand. Bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. How can you think of? Smallest, see, biggest you can think of. Whatever is the biggest you thought, okay. Biggest is the wakeful state. Waking consciousness is the biggest thought. Now go beyond that, bigger than that. Bigger means what can you do? You can't do anything. That's where you read tradition and guru, and they tell us the biggest thought means the maximum human mind can think of, the biggest dimension it can think of is the waking state. Bigger than it is giving up the waking state. When you give up the waking state, you become stateless. You merge into it, you swallow it up. Stateless alone is the bigger than thought. State is the maximum thought human mind can think of. The maximum thought human mind can think of. Then bigger than the thought, bigger than the waking state. That's why the mantra says, Anorani Mahato Mahiyan, bigger than the biggest. Biggest is the wakeful thought. Then further bigger means even the wakeful thought is merged, no thought. When you think of the biggest thought, beyond the biggest thought, further you can't stretch it. You can only dissolve it. You can't stretch it further. Maximum, like a balloon, you keep on puffing the air into it. You take a balloon, keep on puffing the air, but how long? It reaches a maximum. Still try little more. Then what happened? The inner air and outer air become one air. Inner air in the balloon, outer air, inner air becomes one air. Means both breaks it. Balloon bursts. Therefore, similarly, when the thought is maximum is waking, still go beyond. Beyond means still break it. You become thoughtless. You become stateless. Therefore, stateless is the reality in which the state is appearing. That's why we say bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest also. The smallest point you can think of. Think whatever is the smallest, minutest point you think. Okay. Minutest you reach the maximum. Still smaller. Go still smaller. Mind becomes blank. That means mind itself dissolves. That's why we say smaller than the smallest. Smallest is the maximum point of mind. Beyond that is no mind, no thought. You remain just, when there is no thought, you are purely conscious. That is a deep sleep, no thought. Therefore, deep sleep, what is the deep sleep? Deep sleep is either way, you come to the maximum thought and leave it, go out of it, or you come to the minimum thought, smallest thought, and go beyond it. Either go the beyond smallest or go the beyond biggest. Smallest and biggest, this is the maximum reach. Go beyond them, means remaining deep sleep. Thought is dissolved, you remain yourself. Therefore, thought cannot be further stretched. Further stretching means swallowing the very thought. You remain thoughtless, just pure consciousness. That is why, that is Sushupti. That Sushupti is called Ishvara. See, in Indian Shastras, it is your Sushupti, it is your infinity. Infinite consciousness is Bhagavan, that is Ishvara. In that infinite consciousness, the mind, thought, space and time and world, everything merges into it and evolves from it. Therefore we say, but when you are an individual, where is that Sushupti, which is a witnessing consciousness? Sushupti or witnessing consciousness is also there in your bottom, at the deeply in your heart. Even of an individual, deeply in your heart there is consciousness. That consciousness you reach. Now you are looking at through mind and sense organ, trying to look within. When you are trying to look within through thought, that means the thought is restricting you to see the pure consciousness. Thought is showing you a part of consciousness. Because the mind, which is a thought, with the thought you try to look within you. You are aware, you know it, but you can't see the total awareness. Total awareness is deep sleep. So you can only see a part of consciousness. When you are waking individual, you see only a part of consciousness. Because the mind is not allowing you to see the whole consciousness. Therefore, that whatever part of consciousness you have as a jiva, that part is only Ishvara. Therefore, jiva's original nature, the consciousness, is Bhagavan only. That means you are a part of Bhagavan. When you are looking to yourself through mind, you can only see a part of consciousness. Don't see the complete consciousness. You transcend the mind, you dissolve the mind, what happened? Then you remain mindless. Thoughtless consciousness means it is infinity, that is Ishvara. When you are with mind, you are a jiva. When you drop the mind, you are Ishvara. This is easy for us to explain. Therefore, Ishvara is not separate. Ishvara is your own larger self, your own original self, your own infinite self is Ishvara. And of that Ishvara, you as an individual is a part of it. You are only taking a part of your original nature. So your original nature, your inner nature is Ishvara, but apparent nature is Jiva. That's all we mean. Ishvara, Jiva are not two separate. Your apparent form of that infinite you, like the infinite space, you take a small space, 1 liter or 10 liter space. 10 liter space, 10 liter means this much area. 10 liter space is a part of a larger space, infinite space. Infinite space is Ishvara, a small space is Jiva. So Jiva is within Ishvara. He is always dependent on him. He partakes Ishvara, a part of him. Yet he is bound by his limitation, because every space is small, bound by certain area, certain place, certain part or certain limitation. Like a part space is bound by part. Part is limiting it. You break the part, it becomes infinite. Similarly, we are bound by thought, sense organs, body, so our consciousness looks limited. The same consciousness appearing limited due to body, mind and sense organs is Jiva. He gets rid of his body. He detaches himself from the body. He discovers that he is not the body, he is not the mind, he is not the sense organ. He himself understands as infinity. So that infinite consciousness is Ishvara. You don't understand Ishvara, you understand as Ishvara. You are the Ishvara. You don't see Ishvara in front of you as another thing. You don't see God as another. If you think of a God as an other than you, he becomes a thought only. If you think of God, then he is only object of thought. Isn't it? You can think of God and you can dismiss him also, because if you think of a thought, he is an object of thought, he is dependent on thought. But your consciousness is not dependent on thought. It is the consciousness that forms the basis of thought. Therefore, Ishvara is independent of thought. God is independent of thought. Therefore, thought depends upon God or Ishvara or consciousness. The witnessing consciousness, thought depends upon witnessing consciousness. Witnessing consciousness is independent. It doesn't need a thought. Therefore, Ishvara is independent of thought. Jiva is a thought, world is thought. Ishvara is independent of thought. Therefore, our idea, our understanding of Ishvara and the world is this. Therefore, world is a thought. Jiva is also same consciousness limited by a thought. Is Jiva. He is conscious, but not complete consciousness, but not his original natural consciousness, but limited by his mind and sense organ. Therefore, he feels limited. One side he feels consciousness, another side he feels restricted. He is restricted by many things. He has no freedom. He has no freedom. Because of restriction, he suffers. Why should he suffer because of restriction? Because he has got a desire. He wants that. He wants to become that. He wants that. He wants to this thing. What I want, I can't get it because these things don't permit me. My body, I want to fly in air, but my legs don't permit me. You want to fly in air like a bird, but you can't fly. All your helicopters, and then what you say? All your aeroplanes all will go waste. If human beings can fly, all these aeroplanes, all these things go waste. All transport system will go waste. I want to fly, but I can't because your body doesn't permit. That means you are restricted to the body, restricted to the sense organ. I want to know many things. I want to see what is happening in Delhi now, but you can't see. You can't see. Either somebody has to send it through cell phone picture, but whatever he shows, only that much. You want to see other, you can't see unless he shows. He says, okay, you leave the cell phone, I want to see directly. Your eyes won't reach there. Your eyes can see only up to this wall. Beyond wall, you don't know what is there. So eyes restrict you, ears restrict you, sense organs restrict me, body restricts me, my mind restricts me. I can't go beyond that. This is Jiva. Jiva is conscious, but restricted by body, mind and sense organ, time, place, object, many things. Karma, still many, has got many other things, is bound by people. Not only that, is bound by language, bound by food habits, because we eat certain food and you can't go to, when you go to North India, you can see the how South Indians suffer eating that North Indian food. When they come here also, they also suffer. These people eat idli dosa and you won't get any idli dosa there. So you are bound by your food, you are bound by certain things, bound by language also. They don't understand their Hindi language. They speak Hindi and these people can't understand. When they come here, they also find the same thing. Now you are bound by language, you are bound by many things. These are all restrictions make you Jiva. Jiva means a master of restrictions, a master of bondage. Means a person who is bound by many things. He has got degrees of many restrictions. I've got a body 1 degree. Degree means doctoral degree. One is body is my degree, it restricts me. My mind restricts me, sense organs restricts me, my language restricts me, food habits restricts me, my climate also. People live in this climate and go to Delhi climate. Summer it is unbearable, winter is also unbearable. People run away. People went there. They made a big plan. Our brahmacharis, our holiness for our brahmacharis who are there now, they made a big plan. We'll go Badrinath and that fair, Kashi and etc. everything. They went to Badrinath. It was okay. While going, Delhi was hot, but somehow they put up with it. They endured it. Badrinath was cool, nice. When they came down and went that side, Kashi and that side, it became unbearable. They cut short and came running away. We like Bangalore only, we can't live. Now see, you can't even go outside because that hot climate you can't bear. All these restrictions make you Jiva. That's why people won't go, people won't travel at all, because they love to live in their own cozy place. They don't want to go out. So jiva is one who is restricted. So then he merges into sleep, means what? He drops off his body. Body is a thought. He gives up the thought of the body, thought of sense organs, thought of mind. You become thoughtless. You are Ishvara. Merging means what? You see one merging into another. You yourself stand as Ishvara. You don't go and join in with Ishvara. It's not that you go and join with Ishvara. You stand as Ishvara. So this is how we explain. When you drop your jivahood, you stand as Ishvara. Therefore, in deep, Ishvarena, each word has to explain, time won't permit. 12:2. 2 sentences, 1 hour is over. How to explain all this thing? That's why we say you listen for 6 months, 1 year, then everything comes clearly. That's why a few days, 10 days, to 12 days, 15 days is not enough. Anyway, we'll give you some basic idea. A mature person can understand. So, asyam avasthayam jivaha swarupa bhutenaiva. Jiva merges into what? He doesn't go and merge with somebody else. He merges into himself. Merging into himself means what? What will you do? Merging into himself means what? Where will you put your hand? Put in your mouth? Where will you merge? Legs also put in, you swallow your own hands and legs? How will you merge into yourself? Merging means what? You live out what you are not. Because anyway it is an extraneous to you. Body is extraneous to you, sense organ, because you got it from external. Because you need a thought to take it upon yourself. Thought is artificial. Thought is unnatural. Thought is not me. Therefore, through unnaturally you got it. What is unnatural you leave off. You remain your natural self. Merging means you going back to yourself. Means remaining natural. That is Ishvara. Therefore, Sushupti is not somewhere away. You are going and traveling and going and meeting him. It is not traveling, because what is the distance between waking to deep sleep? How much is the distance? How many kilometers, how many centimeters, or how many millimeters? How much is the distance you have to cross from waking to deep sleep? There is no distance, because there is no space and time. Space and time is within the state. When there is no space and time, then what? The very thought of two is wrong. They are not two. Thought is within consciousness. Like the wave, how far is the wave from water? Wave wants to reach water. Somebody told, hey, why are you suffering like this wave? Come on, go and merge with water. You will be very happy, you will be wide enough. Somebody advised what? Mr. Wave. Somebody suggested, you go and merge with your God. Who is that water? And he said, where is that God? He asked. Oh, you don't know? You don't know? Search in the Google. You will find where is your Guru, where is your God. Where will you find? How will you go and merge? Then he says, I don't know Google. Okay, find out a Guru. He told, my Guru told me I should go and merge into water. Then, okay, merge. He says, since morning till evening I have been searching all over, but I don't find where is water. What can I do? Look within. He says, I closed my eyes, but I still remain wave only. Where will you merge? Neither closing eyes nor opening eyes. You are without eyes, you merge. You keep on closing eyes and opening eyes. As long as you opening eyes is eyes, closing eyes is also eyes only. Closing eyes, opening eyes, both are, in both conditions, you are with eyes. I say, you are free from eyes. Look at that. Therefore, how distant is wave from water? There is no distance. There is only wrong thinking that I am not water. You correct the wrong thinking, drop the wrong thinking, you are already water. Tell me, when are you not? When are you not the water? Therefore, the waking individual has to understand, when were you not deep sleep? Tell me. Your original nature, your inner nature is always deep sleep. You are that witnessing consciousness. You are always the same. You have never moved away from your deep sleep. Like part space never moved away from total space. Has it moved away? Is it possible to go away? Can individual consciousness move away from witnessing consciousness? How can it go away? There is nothing to away. There is nothing away, you can't go away. You only have a wrong thought. You think that you are not, that's all. Like living in this Karyalaya, you think that I am not in the ashram, I have to go to ashram, you think. Supposing he thinks that I am not in the ashram, I have to go to ashram. What have I to do? Where to travel? Which side I have to move? You don't have to move. When our Hindi, Akhandananda Swamiji would say in Hindi, आप कहीं भी हो, कैसे भी हो, जिस किसी भी अवस्था में भी हो, आप वैसे ही ब्रह्म हैं. Means wherever you are, whenever you are, in whatever condition you are, in whatever condition you are, in that condition alone you are Brahman. He would say like that. In Hindi, आप जैसा भी हो, कैसा भी हो, जिस किसी भी अवस्था में हो, आप वैसे ही ब्रह्म है. He would say like that. Even to listen to the word is a shocking in the sense it would put out the thought and you remain. You just remain motionless as a sakshi only. His words were like bombs alone. You touches your heart. Abba, amazing Guru he was. Akhandananda Swamiji in Hindi would speak. He would not know English or any other thing. He was a great Sanskrit scholar, but he is good at Hindi. So wherever you are, in whatever condition you are, in that condition, in that way alone you are Brahman. Whatever you are consciousness. See, wave in whatever condition it is, whether it is in a sitting condition, standing condition or stretching condition, wave in whatever form it is, in that form, in that condition is already water. Oh, this is very difficult. But still he thinks that I have to become water, I have to become water. What have to do? Are you not? No, I am not, he says. That is the problem. He says, I am not water. You have to become water. So there is the thought is obstructing you. I am not. This is called adhyasa. This is a wrong thinking. You understand how wrong thinking is wrong. That's all. All that we need to do is that wrong thinking is wrong. You are already Sushupti. You have never gone away from Sushupti. Nobody can go because Sushupti is timeless, spaceless, is infinite. How can you go out of infinity? Can you go out of infinity? There is nothing outside infinity. Infinity includes everything. Infinity includes everything. Nothing is outside consciousness. No thought is outside consciousness. No wave is outside water, away from water. No wave is away from water, outside water. Similarly, no thought, no state is away from consciousness, away from deep sleep. So you want to go to deep sleep? What do you mean that? Going to deep sleep means what? You are already that. You are only looking elsewhere. You are looking at wrong direction. Look this side. Oh, you are already there. You are already that. Therefore, waking individual merges into deep sleep means he turns his attention. He is already that. Just to turn. Turning means the thought of body gone, thought of sense organs, thought of individuality gone. You are the consciousness. You are the deep sleep. Therefore, अस्याम ही अवस्थायाम जीवः स्वरूप भूतेनैव सर्वसाक्षि भूतेन ईश्वरेण वर्तते. He doesn't merge, he stands. Swamiji's expression in Sanskrit is very beautiful. He stands as Ishvara. He doesn't become Ishvara, doesn't go Ishvara, doesn't join. See, going, becoming, merging, these words mislead you. These words give you a wrong impression. They don't go and merge and join and all that. You stand as Ishvara, that's all. You remain as Ishvara. You are Ishvara. Therefore, tad Ishvara rupena vartate. That expression is beautiful, Swamiji's. So, sarvasakshi bhutena Ishvarena vartate iti sarvathatra jiveshwara vibhago nivartate. So, jiva Ishvara. The total consciousness is Ishvara. A partial consciousness is jiva. The total water is water. Partial water is wave. Wave in a given dimension. In a given measure, a small measure. A given dimension is jiva, but you forget that dimension, you are already water. Similarly, he says, jiva sarvatha atra jiveshwara vibhago nivartate. In deep sleep, there is no jiva ishvara division. there is no Ishvara and world division. Bhagavan and Jagat, Bhagavan and Jiva, this division disappears. Disappear means, even disappears is a wrong expression. Disappears assumes that it was separate and now disappeared. Even the disappearing assumes that it was separate. It was never separate. Where is the question of disappearing? You are already one. Therefore, sarvatatra jiveshwara vibhago nivartate eva soyam prajna trutiya pradaha. This is the third pada. This is prajna. This prajna, when we say he creates the world, creates means, is it manufacturing in time and place, doing something and creating it? Rope creates a snake, means what? How? How does it create? How much time? You go and ask. See, we want you to create snake. How much time do you need to create a snake? Tell us. How much time a rope takes to create the snake? 1 second? 2 seconds? 3? No second, no time. You see, it appears, that's all. There is no question of time. A wrong perception doesn't need a time, because misunderstanding, wrong perception is not a process. This is the difference between our post-Shankarites and Swamiji. Swamiji, having watched the Shankara Bhashya repeatedly warning, he says, repeatedly watching and observing, he says, in Shankara's view, Srishti, the creation is not a process. In fact, not only creation is not a process, even a misunderstanding, adhyasa, is not a process. Post-Shankarites try to present adhyasa as a process. Like a rope appearing as a snake is a process. They want to present it how the snake is born. They try to give an explanation. Swamiji says all that explanation is only a theory. It is a hypothesis. In your experience, nobody has seen snake arising gradually. Like when you put a cell phone and see that snake gradually arises. There is no gradual arising. Snake is not born. Snake appears. Therefore, any misunderstanding, any mistake is not a gradual process being produced. There is no process for misunderstanding. There is no process for adhyasa, bhranti. All of them mean the same thing. Bhranti or adhyasa is not a process. It's not a production. That's also one thing. Adhyasa is not a production. You find it is anadi. Misunderstanding is, you find in misunderstanding, that's all. When and how, there is no when. How, there is no process. When and how, there is no such thing called process and this thing. You find it is, that's all. How does the dream start? Can you explain the process of production of dream? How does the dream world is produced? You want to dream a road and house, okay? Then do you take time? You see, we take some time to build the house. You take some time to lay the road. We take some time to buy a car. Then on a car, road and then house, you can go and you can dream. To dream, do you need time to produce each things? Or you order somebody that you make the things? How much time you take for production of dream? There is no time. Time itself is a part of the production. Time itself is a part of the dream. So there is no production, there is no process. You just see. That's why we say anadi. It appears. Similarly, waking also world appears within the waking state from a wrong standpoint. It is a misunderstanding. But in its real nature, Ishvara, there is no world. Therefore, Sushupti is Ishvara. From that Ishvara, Jagat is born. When we say world is created from Ishvara, how is that? Sarvata nishprapanchatve etad vilakshanam brahmano rupam kim avashishtamasti yena chaturtha pada. Ayyo. Still we have discussed only deep sleep. Now we have to discuss Turiya. Yesterday I thought of it, didn't happen, but today time was not enough. Anyway, we will do tomorrow. Antaryami Sarvagnya. Oh, still he is explaining. 1 or 2 points, 2 pages he explains. Then in that process you will understand Turiya also. We will do tomorrow. Anyway. किम अवशिष्टमस्ति येन चतुर्थपादोपि प्रदर्श्यते किंच कथं वा आत्मनो भूत भविष्यद् Rupatvam pratignyayate shrutyayate chitriyate manmanaha. I have touched in one way, but he explains, Swamiji explains in his own way. This world and time and place, how is it born and how it merges? There is no process. You see the world within the sushupti, within the witnessing consciousness alone. And from the consciousness, this world is not separate. World is already in it. It is you think it is separate, but the in witnessing consciousness doesn't see world as apart from him. The witnessing Atma doesn't see world as separate from him. It is a misunderstanding Jiva who thinks that I am separate from Ishvara. It is his misunderstanding, isn't it? It is his misunderstanding. Therefore, his misunderstanding is corrected. You see that you are already one. That much we have to do it. We'll do it tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.